He didn't want the healthy puppies. He wanted the sick one. I laughed. The boy didn't. I was at my pet shop when a little kid walked in and asked, "Can I see the puppies?" I showed him the lively ones, running, barking, full of life, but he ignored them. He pointed to a tiny puppy sitting alone in the corner. "I want that one," I said. "You don't want the playful ones?" He shook his head. "He looks lonely, like me." I hesitated. "That puppy is sick. He might not live long." He reached into his pocket. "Is this enough?" "Just a few crumpled dollars," I said. "No." I told him the puppy couldn't play. He didn't argue. He hugged the puppy and whispered, "That's okay. I can't play much either." A few days later, he returned, holding $50 and tears in his eyes. "I brought the money," he said softly. "I have cancer. I don't have much time." He smiled at the puppy. "But he shouldn't be alone." Before leaving, he turned back and said, "Broken things understand each other." Comment amen if this touched you. Like if you believe love doesn't need to be perfect. Jason was the coolest and wildest boy at school, known for his constant troublemaking. His antics finally earned him 40 hours of community service at the school's outreach project. For the first few days, he sat in a corner, ignoring everyone. Boredom eventually set in, until he noticed Emily. Emily, a girl his friends often mocked, wore simple clothes and always smiled while helping others. Despite not fitting his usual type, her kindness caught his attention. One day, the group went to distribute food for the homeless. Jason's hand accidentally brushed against Emily's, and he felt something unexpected. Curious about this new feeling, he started helping with genuine enthusiasm and approached Emily with a sincere smile. Over the next few days, they grew close, and eventually they fell in love. "Jason, what are you doing with that ugly girl?" sneered one of his friends. Jason turned calmly and said, "Some people burn with love and kindness inside, which makes them shine beautifully on the outside." From that moment, Jason embraced a new path, finding joy in helping others and understanding that true beauty comes from within. With Emily by his side, he discovered a different kind of cool, one that truly made a difference in the world. Comment amen if this story touched your heart. Like if you believe kindness is the real beauty. Subscribe for more heartwarming stories that inspire. "Why do you want that sick puppy?" I asked. One day, while I was working in my pet store, a little boy walked in and said, "Can I see the puppies?" I showed him the healthy ones, running and playing. But in the corner, one small puppy sat alone, weak and sad. "How much are they?" the boy asked. $50 each, I said, "but that one isn't for sale." "Why?" he asked. "He's sick," I replied. "He may not even live long." The boy didn't hesitate. He pulled out 3 crumpled dollars and said, "Can I buy him?" I told him it wasn't enough and that the puppy couldn't even play. But he ignored me, hugged the puppy tightly and whispered, "We'll be best friends." A while later, the boy returned with money in his hand. "I brought $50, he said, tears in his eyes. Then he whispered, "I'm battling cancer. I don't have much time either, but he needs someone who understands. Everyone deserves love," he said, no matter how sick or broken they are. If you believe love heals all, comment amen. Like this video if it touched your heart. Subscribe for more emotional and heartwarming stories. He didn't want the healthy puppies. He wanted the sick one. I laughed. The boy didn't. I was at my pet shop when a little kid walked in and asked, "Can I see the puppies?" I showed him the lively ones, running, barking, full of life, but he ignored them. He pointed to a tiny puppy sitting alone in the corner. "I want that one," I said. "You don't want the playful ones?" He shook his head. "He looks lonely, like me." I hesitated. "That puppy is sick. He might not live long." He reached into his pocket. "Is this enough?" "Just a few crumpled dollars," I said. "No." I told him the puppy couldn't play. He didn't argue. He hugged the puppy and whispered, "That's okay. I can't play much either." A few days later, he returned, holding $50 and tears in his eyes. "I brought the money," he said softly. "I have cancer. I don't have much time." He smiled at the puppy. "But he shouldn't be alone." Before leaving, he turned back and said, "Broken things understand each other." Comment amen if this touched you. Like if you believe love doesn't need to be perfect. While a mother and her children slept, a nearby river suddenly overflowed, flooding their home with terrifying force, destroying everything in its path. In the chaos, she fought desperately to save her little ones. Their lives were spared, but they lost everything else. "Mom, what are we going to eat?" "The water took everything. We're hungry." "Please, sir, sell me some food." "I'll pay you later." I don't give credit. 5 hungry children. No food. Nowhere else to turn. "Leave now. There's nothing I can do for you." "I'll pay for her groceries." "Very well. Put your list on the scale. Whatever it weighs, that's how much food you get." "Dear God, you know my needs. I place this situation in your hands." When men's hearts close, faith opens doors no one can block. A mother's sincere prayer is worth more than any coin. Where there is true faith, miracles happen. If this story touched your heart, type Amen in the comments, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe so more hearts can be touched by faith and miracles. I'll lend you the bull for a few days but return him healthy, said the neighbor. Of course, sir, the young man promised. He took the bull home, placed it with his cow, and cared for them carefully. Days passed. The cow became pregnant, and the little family watched her grow strong. One cold dawn, the cow went into labor. There were no vets, just him, his wife, and their little boy. Easy, calm down, he whispered. After tense moments, a tiny calf was born, wet, trembling, but alive. The cow licked him, and the young man cried, not from sadness, but from pure joy. From that day, he worked tirelessly. He planted, tended his animals, and learned to sell them wisely. The skinny cow that everyone thought would die became the foundation of his farm, his dream, and his independence. Years passed. He had cows, calves, chickens, and a thriving little farm. Hard work, patience, and faith turned a discarded cow into a story of hope. Sometimes, the best opportunities hide in what others throw away. Comment Amen if this story touched your heart. Like this video if you believe in second chances. Subscribe for more stories that inspire. God is not real. That's what the other firefighters used to say when they mocked my faith. But I still prayed. One night, we got an emergency call. A house was completely engulfed in flames. When we arrived, I realized a family was still trapped inside. I grabbed my axe and whispered a prayer. "Don't go in alone," they shouted. "God won't save you, you'll die in there." I didn't stop. I ran straight into the fire, smashed the door open, and pulled the family out, one by one. Then I went back inside, just to be sure no one else was trapped. Suddenly, the ceiling collapsed. I heard their voices fading. "He's gone! The roof fell on him!" When I opened my eyes, I couldn't believe it. Everything around me was destroyed, except the exact spot where I had been praying. That small circle was untouched. They stared at me in shock. "How are you alive? The roof collapsed on you." I stood up, without a single injury. I looked up and said with tears in my eyes, because God was with me. He protected me, just like I prayed. If you believe in God's protection, comment Amen. Like if your faith is strong, subscribe for more powerful, faith-filled stories. God isn't real. That's what my fellow firefighters used to say. They mocked my faith and laughed when I prayed. One night, we got an emergency call. A house was completely engulfed in flames, and a family was trapped inside. As we arrived, fear filled the air. I grabbed my axe, closed my eyes, and whispered one last prayer. "Don't go in alone," they shouted. "God won't save you, you'll die." But I ran anyway. I smashed the door open and rushed into the fire. One by one, I pulled the family out, safe. Then I went back inside, just to be sure no one else was left. Suddenly, the ceiling collapsed. Everything came crashing down on me. "He's gone! I can't see him anymore!" I heard their voices fading. When I opened my eyes, I couldn't believe it. Everything around me was destroyed, except for a small circle where I had been praying. That spot was untouched, not a single injury, not even a scratch. They stared at me in shock. "How are you alive? The roof collapsed on you." I looked up and cried. Because God was there with me. He protected me, just as I had asked in my prayers. If you believe in God, comment Amen below. Like this video, subscribe for more inspiring stories, and never stop believing.
"I'm going to buy this car," Jorge whispered, touching the shiny door gently, like touching a dream he'd held for 50 years. But the dealer's owner shouted, "Hey, get away from that. Look at you, filthy beggar. You don't even have money to eat." The whole showroom burst into laughter. Jorge didn't respond. He just lowered his head. The truth hurt, but the words didn't break him. "If this dream is mine, then nothing is impossible for you." For days, he slept on the streets again, cold, hungry, forgotten, until suddenly a lawyer found him. "Are you Jorge Silva?" Jorge nodded. "You've inherited something." A distant relative passed away. Jorge froze. A miracle, but real. For the first time in decades, he bought food, new clothes, a small place to sleep, and then, he returned to that dealership, that owner, that same car. When Jorge stepped inside clean, confident, transformed, the owner's jaw dropped. Jorge walked right to the car he had once touched with trembling hands and said, "I came to buy this car." Silence, shock, justice. That day, Jorge didn't just buy a car. He bought back his dignity, his worth, his voice. And every time he drives, he whispers, "Men laughed at me, but God lifted me."